I need to clear something up and make it plain so that everyone understands what's really going on here. No need to complicate a word that is so simple, but it's hard not to when that word is tied to so much controversy. Every video I see lately talks about the woke agenda in gaming, the woke agenda in Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft, whatever. So what does it really mean? And when you hear the term woke today, what comes to mind? For many, it's associated with divisiveness or forced agendas in entertainment, but that wasn't always the case. Originally, woke had a powerful, positive meaning, awareness of social issues and a call for change in areas like racial equality and justice. So how did we get from something that was once empowering to where we are today, where woke is seen as a hindrance to creativity in the gaming industry? In this video, I want to explore that shift and ask what went wrong. How did something so meaningful become so controversial? The original meaning of woke came from being socially conscious, aware of injustice, and striving to push boundaries for good. The word woke was originally rooted in African American vernacular English and was used to describe being aware or awake to social injustices, particularly around issues of racial inequality. The term gained prominence during the civil rights movement in the mid-20th century and was closely associated with being vigilant about systemic oppression and injustice. However, the word woke has been hijacked or transformed over time, largely due to its overuse and the way it's been co-opted by different political and cultural groups. And as more people began using the term across various contexts, often without understanding its origins, it lost much of its original significance. The word became a catch-all for anything associated with social injustice, regardless of whether the usage was appropriate. As a result, woke now means different things to different people, often leading to confusion and misrepresentation in discussions about social issues. But here's the main point of this conversation, and I'll try my best to be respectful of people's orientation, but this subject alone is controversial and will undoubtedly rub people the wrong way. But I have to put things in perspective. In recent years, we've seen a surge in inclusion of LGBTQ+ characters and themes across various media, including games. While representation is essential for marginalized communities, there is a fine line between organic inclusion and forced representation that can disrupt the authenticity of a story, especially when it conflicts with established lore or historical accuracy. Let me make it even more clear. Take, for example, Assassin's Creed Shadows, the subject of so much controversy today, a game set within the highly revered and traditional bound world of Japanese samurai. Historically, the samurai followed a strict code of honor known as Bushido, and many aspects of Japanese culture during that period were focused on hierarchy, duty, and societal roles that left little room for deviations from traditional gender and sexual norms. So introducing LGBTQ elements into this specific cultural setting, when it wasn't a notable part of the samurai culture, risks feeling like a forced inclusion that doesn't honor the historical narrative and instead feels like a modern agenda inserted into a time where it simply doesn't align. Similarly, in Star Wars universe, which has a well-established and meticulously crafted lore, the introduction of LGBTQ characters or relationships seems out of place when there's no precedent for it within the canon. Star Wars is about galaxy-spanning conflicts, diverse alien species. It's extremely morally complex, and the ever-present struggle between the light and dark sides of the Force. But while new characters and storylines are welcome, the attempt to insert these types of themes for the sake of ticking a representation box can break the immersion and pull players away from what's made Star Wars so successful for decades. The issue here is not with the LGBTQ+ representation itself, but how it's being incorporated. When these characters are introduced in a way that is incongruent with the setting or history, it feels forced. This detracts from the natural flow of storytelling and takes away from the authenticity that audiences seek. It's not that there shouldn't be LGBTQ characters or stories, but rather these stories should make sense within the context of the game or lore. Now let's get back to the broader issue, wherein wokeness in its original form was about equality and justice, values that benefit society and creative industries alike. However, this version of woke has been hijacked, forcing diversity for the sake of it, rather than allowing it to emerge naturally in narratives where it makes sense. In game development, this modern version of woke often leads to pandering, diluting creativity and pushing a narrative that feels disjointed from the world the game is trying to create. I don't even know what to call it, really. Ultimately, inclusion is important in its natural sense, but not when it compromises the historical, cultural, or fictional integrity of a story. And games that genuinely want to explore the LGBTQ+ themes should do so in settings where these stories can thrive naturally, rather than retrofitting them into places. And when done thoughtfully, inclusion can enhance the storytelling. So let's circle back a little bit, because the original meaning of woke should not be perceived in a negative light like it is today in every video you see. Because in art and media, specifically gaming, it should be a catalyst for creativity. When creators are aware of the world's problems, they're inspired to reflect them in their work, often in groundbreaking ways. Think about games and movies that challenge societal norms or present diverse perspectives. It enriches the medium. So, being woke, in this sense, should be about innovation and depth. It's important to clarify what it should not be about for the sake of consistency. Let me be clear. This is my perspective, and I know there are many who resonate with me. There will also be those who don't. And the word woke in general has a place in every culture, race, and identity. In certain historical scenarios, you see where it's been highlighted heavily, which prompts the influence of many different opinions, whether they be good or bad, about the word itself. So where do we go from here? How do we fix this? The answer lies in going back to what woke was originally meant to represent: creativity born out of awareness. Developers need to return to telling genuine, diverse stories without feeling pressured to force inclusivity. We need representation that feels natural, not tokenized. That's where creativity thrives. Am I right or wrong? When developers are free to push boundaries and explore meaningful topics without the fear of backlash, great things are born out of this. And the issue can be solved, because the core of woke still remains true. Developmental narratives based on what they are, not because they feel like they have to. And if we embrace this balance, we'll see a resurgence of creativity in the gaming world. And perhaps Ubisoft won't be crashing and burning at the moment, but this is sad. It really is. Ubisoft is really sinking, and it's not a trending topic that is simply talked about temporarily for views and clicks. This is actually happening, ladies and gentlemen. It's literally a paradigm shift in the gaming industry. The core philosophy behind game development is changing and increasingly disconnected from what players loved about them in the first place. This isn't just about one bad patch or poorly received game. It's a transformation of how games are made, and Ubisoft is emblematic of this shift. Unless they can adopt and return their roots of creative freedom and player-focused content, they may continue to lose their place in the industry they once helped define. Now, I know this conversation can bring out strong reactions, and yes, there will be individuals who inject race into this discussion, especially in the comments, but let me be clear. This has not much to do with race when you look at the word in and of itself. As I said before, it's just been highlighted in certain historical situations. And that's something that should never be controversial, although it undoubtedly will. If we look throughout history, every single race of people has had to be woke at some point of protest or pushback. So woke is a controversial concept, but at the end of the day, this isn't about dividing or forcing anything. It's about striving for fairness and inclusion in a way that enhances creativity in a natural way, not limits it. We need to recognize that these values are things that make society and games better for everyone, and there's no place for turning that into a racial issue. Anyways, I just felt that I had to make a video like this because I don't like how the original meaning is being overshadowed by so many other things that it's not. I don't even know what to call this new movement, honestly. But whatever it is, it's destroying the gaming industry. So I hope other game companies don't follow what Ubisoft has done in the past couple years, because you can see the result unfolding right in front of everyone's faces. Anyways, I want to hear what you think about this in the comment section below. Try to keep them as least toxic as possible and make it more so of a conversation. Anyways, if you like this conversation, then like the video. Also subscribe to my channel for more. That'll do it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Be right out.